The Albanese government just got absolutely demolished in Parliament, and the political earthquake that followed has left Labour scrambling like never before. What you're about to witness is nothing short of a complete political meltdown that exposes everything wrong with this government's priorities. And Sky News senior political reporter Trudy McIntosh just dropped a bombshell that has Anthony Albanese's office in full damage control mode. This isn't just another political setback, this is Labour's first significant defeat since winning the election, and it happened on the one issue they swore they'd never compromise on, aged care. While Albanese's been jet-setting around the world making grand speeches about international cooperation, Australia's most vulnerable seniors have been abandoned, forgotten, and left to rot in a system so broken that even Labour's own MPs couldn't stomach defending it anymore. Here's the explosive truth that mainstream media doesn't want you to know. This parliamentary defeat wasn't just a policy disagreement, it was a complete repudiation of everything Labour stands for. The government that promised to fix aged care, that campaigned on caring for our elderly, just got caught red-handed prioritising everything except the Australians who built this nation with their own two hands. Trudy McIntosh reporting has blown the lid off what she's calling strange circumstances surrounding Labour's humiliating defeat, but strange doesn't even begin to describe the absolute chaos that erupted in Parliament House when the vote tally started coming in. We're talking about a government so out of touch, so disconnected from reality, that they walk straight into a political ambush that anyone with half a brain could have seen coming from kilometres away. The numbers don't lie, and they are absolutely devastating for Albanese's credibility. After months of empty promises and bureaucratic excuses, Labour finally caved under pressure and announced they'll allocate 20,000 home care packages for senior Australians. 20,000. That's not generosity, that's panic-driven damage control from a government that just realised they are about to face the wrath of every Australian family dealing with aged care nightmares. But here's what's really going to make your blood boil. These 20,000 care packages should have been allocated months ago. While Labour's been busy with their progressive pet projects and international virtue signalling, hundreds of thousands of elderly Australians have been languishing on waiting lists, stuck in inadequate care facilities, or forcing their families into financial ruin trying to provide basic dignity in their final years. The parliamentary defeat that triggered this sudden generosity wasn't some technical procedural loss, it was a full-scale rebel lion that included MPs from Labour's own ranks. Sources inside Parliament House are reporting that the backbench revolt was so intense that senior Labour ministers were seen frantically making phone calls to party headquarters, desperately trying to contain the political fallout before it spread to other policy areas. McIntosh's investigation reveals that the strange circumstances she referenced include last-minute coalition building between crossbench senators, disaffected Labour MPs, and opposition members who were absolutely fed up with the government's inaction on aged care. This wasn't planned weeks in advance, this was a spontaneous political uprising driven by pure frustration at Labour's complete failure to deliver on their core election promises. What makes this defeat even more humiliating for Albanese is that aged care was supposed to be Labour's signature issue. They spent the entire election campaign hammering the coalition about aged care failures, promising immediate action, comprehensive reform, and putting seniors at the centre of government policy. Instead, they've delivered months of committees, consultations, and bureaucratic delays while real Australians suffered in silence. The political implications of this defeat are absolutely staggering, and Labour strategists are reportedly in full panic mode trying to prevent this from becoming a broader pattern of parliamentary losses. When your own MPs start voting against government positions on your flagship policies, you're not just facing a political setback, you're staring down the barrel of a complete collapse of party discipline and caucus confidence. Here's the part that should make every Australian absolutely furious. The 20,000 home care packages that Labour suddenly found money for were available all along. The funding was there, the infrastructure was in place, and the need was desperate and obvious. The only thing missing was political will, and it took a parliamentary humiliation to finally force their hand. The human cost of Labour's delays and excuses is absolutely heartbreaking, and it's a scandal that mainstream media has largely ignored until now. We're talking about elderly Australians dying while waiting for care packages, families going bankrupt trying to provide basic support, and a generation of seniors who worked their entire lives to build this country being treated like political afterthoughts. McIntosh's reporting also reveals that the parliamentary defeat caught Labour completely off guard because they'd been so focused on managing media narratives rather than actually governing. Senior ministers were apparently confident they had the numbers locked up, only to discover that backbench frustration had reached a boiling point that no amount of party line messaging could contain. The opposition's role in orchestrating this defeat demonstrates a level of strategic coordination that Labour clearly wasn't prepared for. Instead of allowing the government to continue stalling and making excuses, they forced a vote that exposed Labour's true priorities and left them with no choice but to finally act on aged care or face even more damaging political consequences. What's particularly damning about this entire episode is how it reveals Labour's complete disconnect from the everyday struggles of ordinary Australians. While government ministers live in their Canberra bubble, attending endless meetings and photo opportunities, real families are dealing with aged care crises that destroy lives and drain life savings with devastating efficiency. The 20,000 care packages that Labor suddenly discovered they could afford represent just a fraction of the actual need across Australia. Current estimates suggest that over 100,000 Australians are waiting for appropriate home care packages, meaning that even this panic-driven response addresses less than a quarter of the actual problem. Behind the scenes, Labor's handling of this parliamentary defeat has been nothing short of catastrophic. Sources report that senior ministers were blindsided by the scale of crossbench and backbench opposition, having clearly failed to do the basic political groundwork necessary to maintain party unity on such a crucial issue. The timing of this defeat couldn't be worse for Albanese's leadership credentials. Just as he's trying to establish himself as a competent alternative to the previous government's chaos, his own parliament delivers a devastating blow that undermines everything Labor claimed to stand for during the election campaign. McIntosh's description of strange circumstances appears to reference the unprecedented nature of the coalition that formed to defeat the government. This wasn't traditional left-right politics, this was a genuine cross-party consensus that aged care delays had become morally unacceptable and politically unsustainable. The government's response to this defeat has been equally revealing, with ministers scrambling to frame their sudden policy reversal as planned generosity rather than panic-driven damage control. The optics are absolutely terrible, a government that needed to be forced into caring for elderly Australians through parliamentary humiliation. What makes this story even more explosive is how it exposes the broader pattern of Labor's governance style: big promises during campaigns followed by bureaucratic delays and excuse-making once they are actually in power. The aged care crisis isn't new, it's been building for years while politicians of all stripes made promises they had no intention of keeping. The political fallout from this defeat is already spreading beyond aged care policy. Opposition researchers are reportedly combing through other Labor election promises looking for similar patterns of delay and underdelivery that could be exploited in future parliamentary confrontations. For Australian families currently dealing with aged care nightmares, this parliamentary defeat represents both a victory and an indictment of our political system. It's encouraging that pressure finally forced government action, but absolutely disgraceful that such pressure was necessary to secure basic dignity for elderly Australians. The 20,000 care packages announcement, while welcome, raises serious questions about Labor's budgeting and priority setting processes. If this money was available for immediate allocation, why wasn't it deployed months ago when the need was equally urgent and the human cost equally devastating? McIntosh's reporting suggests that this parliamentary defeat could mark a turning point in Labor's relationship with crossbench MPs and their own backbench. When government MPs start voting against their own leadership on signature policy issues, it signals a breakdown in party discipline that could have far-reaching consequences for Albanese authority. The strange circumstances that led to this defeat appear to include a level of bipartisan cooperation rarely seen in modern Australian politics. When aged care becomes an issue that transcends traditional party lines, it demonstrates just how badly Labor misread the political landscape on this crucial policy area. This defeat also highlights the growing influence of crossbench senators and independent MPs who aren't bound by traditional party loyalty and can actually vote based on policy merit rather than political calculation. Their role in forcing this government back down could signal a new era of accountability in Australian politics. The human stories behind these statistics are what make this political defeat so personally devastating for the families affected. Every day of delay represents another family pushed to breaking point, another elderly Australian denied basic dignity, and another example of political failure with real-world consequences that destroy lives and communities. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Australian News CC family where the real stories come to life. See you in the next one.